Hello everyone. How are you all doing today? Are you ready to join me in exploring the exciting next chapters of the story about Tieu Ka, the single mother building her home? Today, how will Tieu Ka continue to face the challenging task of chopping wood? And how will Hmong support her? Let's follow along to catch every touching and dramatic moment. Under the shade of an ancient tree, Tieu Ka and Hmong rested together after a hurried meal by the empty plot of land where they planned to build their future home. A gentle breeze blew, carrying the scent of fresh earth and dry leaves, making the atmosphere unusually peaceful. Hmong sat leaning against the tree trunk, his eyes half closed as he watched Tieu Ka sleeping soundly. Her face still bore traces of exhaustion, her complexion pale from pregnancy, which made him feel a deep pang of sympathy. Quietly observing her, he felt a strong urge to help her more, to ease her burden, especially since she was carrying a precious little life within her. Just as Hmong was about to wake her up to continue working, he suddenly stopped. Seeing her sleeping soundly, breathing evenly but looking so tired, he couldn't bear to disturb her. "Let me do it all by myself," he told himself. Without hesitation, he stood up, rolled up his sleeves, and began the task of peeling the wood to prepare for building the house. The wind continued to blow, scattering tiny wood chips into the air, mingling with the rustling sounds of the surrounding trees. Hmong held his axe carefully, chopping each piece of wood meticulously. Sweat dotted his forehead. His breath came in heavy pants, but his heart was filled with determination. "She's already so tired, especially being pregnant. I can't let her do this alone," he thought, working tirelessly. The late afternoon sunlight filtered through the tree canopy, casting shimmering patches of light across his focused face. The logs gradually became stripped clean and were neatly stacked into orderly piles. Hmong worked without rest, not stopping even for a moment. The sun slowly set behind the distant mountains, the last rays painting the entire landscape in golden hues, creating a peaceful and gentle natural scene. After a long spell of hard work, Hmong quietly stepped over to Tieu Ka, who was still lying on the grassy ground beneath the tree, his eyes filled with care and concern. He gently called out in a warm voice, "Tieu Ka, wake up, it's already late afternoon." Tieu Ka slowly opened her eyes, startled as if waking from a long dream. She sat up, her gaze heavy and tinged with fatigue, softly saying, "Oh, I'm so tired. I just closed my eyes for a moment and it's already so dark." She looked over at the neatly stacked pile of wood beside her, stripped clean of bark. Surprise and emotion flickered across her face. She couldn't help but ask, "You've peeled all this wood already? Why didn't you wake me to help? Why did you do it all by yourself and work so hard?" Hmong smiled gently, his voice soothing as he comforted her. "I didn't want to disturb you while you were resting, especially with you being pregnant. I thought it's better if I finish it so you can have time to rest and recover." Tieu Cha Nanta Joy Ma Jai Long Biet on Vakam Shoots. She smiled softly and replied, "Oh, thank you so much. It's been a long time since I've had a chance to rest like this." Hearing her words, Hmong felt a lump in his throat and a deep tenderness for her unlike ever before. In that moment, beneath the gentle sunset light, their feelings for each other seemed to ignite, growing stronger and deeper than ever before. Hmong looked at Tieu Ca with gentle and caring eyes, though his body was exhausted after a long day of hard work. He suppressed his fatigue, not wanting her to worry or feel upset. The determination and affection in his gaze created an unusually warm atmosphere around them. Tieu Ka gently brushed the dust off his clothes, her hand lightly touching his shoulder and then his arm, which was stained with sweat and dirt. She looked closely at his hands, where tiny scrapes and scratches were visible after hours of relentless labor. "Oh, your hands. They're so scratched up," she exclaimed, her voice filled with concern. Tieu Ka lowered her head, her eyes sparkling with a mix of joy and guilt. "I'm really sorry. For letting you do all this heavy work alone, I don't know how to ease your burden." Hmong smiled softly, taking her hand in his gentle voice soothing all her worries. "Don't think like that. Helping you is nothing. Seeing you rest and stay healthy is what makes me happy." Tieu Ka felt a happiness mixed with a touch of regret deep in her heart. She knew he didn't mind the hard work, sharing the burden with her, but she couldn't help worrying about making him toil alone. The sunset light illuminated their faces, highlighting the pure and tender emotions between two people building a home together through simple moments filled with love. After a warm conversation under the glow of the sunset, Hmong looked at Tieu Ka with deep concern and gently asked, "Is there still a lot of wood to chop? I'll help you. I can't bear to see you do this alone, especially with your pregnancy." Tieu Ka smiled, her eyes firm yet gentle. "Don't worry, I've already hired someone. They will handle the heavy work. I'll only do the lighter tasks." Hmong furrowed his brow slightly, still not entirely at ease, and spoke sincerely. "Then let me pay for the workers. You can rest assured I'll take care of everything. Don't let yourself struggle alone like this." Tieu Ka shook her head, her voice calm but resolute. "Please don't think like that. I'll hire them myself and do the lighter work to save costs. I have money, so you don't need to worry." Hmong looked straight into her eyes, respecting her decision and independence, but he couldn't hide the worry in his heart. "But if anything comes up, I still want to help you, even if it's just a little." Tieu Ka smiled, gently reaching out to hold his hand. "You've helped me so much already. That's enough." "I'm very grateful, but this is something I want to do on my own, to see it through completely." The atmosphere between them was tender, filled with understanding and trust. Despite the worries, their love and mutual respect only made their bond stronger. While Hmong simply thought that Tieu Ka was struggling with the hard work, he had no idea that behind her strong smile were moments of loneliness and exhaustion multiplied many times over. Today, when she went out alone to chop wood, she slipped and fell lightly. Fortunately, both she and the baby in her belly were safe, without any serious injury. That small accident was the reason Tieu Ka decided to hire help, so she could focus on lighter tasks and protect the health of both mother and child. It was her quiet way of caring for herself and the little life inside her. Even if no one outside truly knew the hardships she was silently enduring. After a warm and intimate conversation shared under the gentle glow of the sunset, the sky gradually shifted into the soft purple hues of twilight. The air grew cooler and more pleasant, signaling the close of a long day. Hmong and Tieu Ka stood up, quietly gathering their belongings around the plot of land. He looked at her with a warm smile and said, "It's getting dark. Let's head home." Tieu Ka nodded, her eyes filled with peace and trust. "Yes, let's go home. We still have to pick up little Han." Together they walked toward their small house, their steps in harmony like the story they had just shared, carrying with them love and hope. As night approached, the little home would soon be filled again with the laughter of little Han, the most precious gift in their lives. In that peaceful space, both knew that no matter how many challenges lay ahead, they would always stand by each other, building their home with fullness and happiness.
Cùng ngồi tựa vào gốc cây, mắt lim dim, nhìn Tiểu Ca đang say giấc. Khuôn mặt cô vẫn còn dấu vết mệt mỏi, làn da nhợt nhạt vì thai nghén, khiến anh không khỏi thốt ra. Anh lặng lẽ quan sát cô, lòng đầy dậy lên ý nghĩ phải giúp đỡ cô thật nhiều để cô đỡ vất vả. Đặc biệt lúc này cô còn đang mang trong mình một em bé nhỏ. Đang định gọi cô dậy để tiếp tục công việc, Hùng chợt dừng lại, nhìn dáng cô ngủ say, thở đều đến mệt mỏi. Anh không lỡ làm cô tỉnh giấc, để anh làm một mình cho, anh tự nhủ. Không ngần ngại, anh đứng lên, sắn tay áo, bắt đầu công việc xóc vỏ gỗ để dựng nhà. Gió vẫn thổi, làm bay những mảnh vụn gỗ nhỏ li ti, hòa cùng tiếng rên rì rầm của cây cối xung quanh. Hùng cầm chiếc rìu chăm chú xóc từng khúc gỗ một cách tỉ mỉ, mồ hôi đẫm trên trán, hơi thở hổn hển, nhưng trong lòng anh tràn đầy sự quyết tâm. Mệt mỏi thế nào, anh cũng vẫn cố gắng làm hết mình để giúp cô những công việc nhỏ nhặt nhất. Cô đỡ mệt hơn rất nhiều. Ánh nắng cuối chiều chiếu qua tán cây, tạo nên những vệt sáng lung linh trên khuôn mặt đầy nỗ lực của anh. Những khúc gỗ dần dần được bóc sạch vỏ, xếp ngăn nắp thành từng hàng gọn gàng. Hùng làm việc mệt mài, không chút nghỉ tay một phút nào. Mặt trời lặn dần sau những ngọn núi xa xa, những tia nắng cuối của buổi cuối ngày vàng rụng khắp không gian, tạo nên một bức tranh thiên nhiên yên bình dịu dàng. Hùng sau một hồi mệt mài làm việc, bước nhẹ lại gần bên Tiểu Ca, người vẫn còn